What's going on, team? It's another wonderful day here on A Brodacious Life. It's just me today. Dr. J is hammering it away, doing what he does best, leading young students, and super proud of that guy. I'm just going to take a few minutes and kind of have a light conversation. We are basically, this is the off season for our garden. One of the things we talked about in our early episodes is mine and Dr. J's lifestyles are completely different. He is a Whole Foods, Kroger. He likes to just go purchase his items. My yard is my Kroger or my Whole Foods. So that means I can walk into my yard at any point in time and I can find chicken, both meat chickens, egg laying chickens, meat ducks, egg laying ducks, pigs. Though there's not any on the farm at the moment. The pigs will be back here soon. But there's lambs, cows, and just a plethora of vegetables. There's fruit trees, there's muscadine vines, every tomato that you could think of. We like to grow lots of different tomatoes and lots of different products. And I was going to share with you how I find all of my seeds and things, because we do everything from an absolute seed. When you buy things from the store that are already like the little seedlings, you're actually spending probably 3 or 4 times the cost, maybe not on the first time, but the second or third time that you do it, you actually save money. Because once you buy it all, like the little starter plants or the little starter cups and everything to start your seeds in, you don't have to buy them ever again. Same thing with like grow lamps. We like to start ours in like February. So we'll actually start everything in grow lamps inside of our, right inside of our living room, but it works for us. And so you can actually save money by growing out your vegetables yourself from a seedling. But the next question is where do I get a seedlings? Yes, you can find seedlings at your Home Depot. You can actually find them at the Dollar General now. And there's obviously those common places, but there's some other good things that are out there that I think that would do you a great bit of good. And I think they're great resources. We've had great success using these different providers, and some of them at different levels of success. And some things were just kind of felt like gimmicks, but we went for it. And some things maybe not so much, or maybe it's just kind of we don't know what we're doing because it's the first time growing something. So that I think some of that kind of happened in there a little bit. We just got too eager. So I always kind of put that out there when I say, oh, well, this group didn't do good for us. Please note that this is probably a good seed company. I just didn't work for me. Or maybe it's a company that doesn't grow necessarily vegetables for my growing zone, which I think is what happened. So first place that we always kind of get stuff from, really not necessarily any particular order, just kind of, we always get stuff mailed in. I love the little magazines, and I like to receive all those little different things that I can flip through all winter and kind of pick up my vegetables and, really get into it. And that's really what we do. But first one is the farm seed stand. You can kind of, again, if you're on YouTube, you can kind of see the different videos and stuff that we're using. We've gotten basically just a couple of muscadines and some items from here. It only comes in a little packet. You can open it up, and it's got lots of different little pamphlets, if you will, inside of it. Everything, there's strawberries, there's hardy, there's somethings, there's gardenias, you kind of name it. They just about got it in these little things. The next one, of course, you got to have, Burpee is the company that you see at the, that's this company that you normally see at like Home Depot or Lowe's in that little seed category or the seed box that's over there. And we've had great success out of that. Some of the best sugar snap peas that we've ever grown have come out of Burpee. We've had just good success, great tomatoes. They're very consistent. They're not at least the tomatoes that you find at the store are not always like the heirloom tomatoes. For the most part, I like heirloom tomatoes over like production tomatoes. That's just me. That's just kind of what I'm into. I'm pretty sure I can grow a much more consistent tomato if I used maybe one of these, but I'm really into the weird, Amish pineapples, brandy wines. I'm into the purple zebras. I'm into the kind of the weird stuff when it comes to my tomatoes. And I just find that's fun for me. I eat more for tomatoes. We do a little bit of tomato sauce, but most of our tomatoes we actually eat fresh. They don't last long in our house. So they're kind of a fun thing to have around, but there's not something that kind of lingers for more than a day or two. We kind of just put it up on the counter and whoever gets to it gets to have it first. Next item is Burgess. And we've actually had some pretty good success. There's a couple things that are in the mix that have been really successful for us. We've also had some things that didn't work for me, but worked for my dad in Atlanta. We're almost kind of parallel, or maybe a little bit further south. But he had great success with they call them tomato trees. And these tomato vines, they get like super tall. That they were upwards of like 15 to 18 feet. And he had just such a huge success with them. We did not. We had terrible success with them. In fact, we didn't even get any shelf life out of them. They pretty much just greened up and then died within probably 2 months and never produced one single tomato for me. But for my dad, hand on the Bible, my dad probably picked 2 years worth of tomatoes out of those trees. He's already made sure that he's getting his tomato trees for next year. He really, really like these. The other items we've gotten from Burgess, though, they have these strawberry planters. We've done really well with their strawberries. They've done a great job. We've gotten now 3 seasons out of them. So 3 different times to be able to come back and get berries off of them. We're actually having to split them off this year, which is a fantastic problem to have, is to have too many clustered all up. So we're actually going to be splitting those up and then adding them into a couple different raised beds. That way we can get more strawberries for next year, because they kind of split over. They'll kind of vine down over the next spot, and they kind of leapfrog that way. So we're trying to make sure that we keep them spread out. We've gotten blueberry trees from Burgess. We've gotten some trumpet trees, which have like these beautiful little flowers that dangle over. We haven't gotten the flowers yet, but the trees are doing just beautiful. I did not know that those were poisonous when I got them, and we've got lots of animals. So we've been kind of trying to figure out exactly where to put it. But there's blueberry on here that is like the dwarf blueberries that can actually go on your porch inside of a planter box. How dope is that? So Burgess, great company. Again, I think my failures are probably just me. I don't want to ever assume that, it was the seed company. It was most likely my fault. I don't know what I'm doing. Next group is the Gurneys. I have gotten some basic seeds out of here, some tomatoes. I believe we've gotten 1 muscadine. This is similar. If you're on the video, you can kind of see the little planter box. That's kind of similar to what we have. And it's just a raised bed. It has a little water hose that sticks up to it. It has like a little sprinkler on it. That was pretty cool. For like $50, you got 25 strawberry plants and that planter. All you had to do is pretty much buy the soil to go inside of that. And that was about $75. So all in, I was probably in about $100, and I've gotten 3 seasons of strawberries out of this 25 plants. That is pretty darn dope. Next one. This one's one of my favorite. It's always one of my favorite magazines to open up. There's 2 of them, but I don't have, was 3 of them. So there's 3 magazines that are really my top 3. And not that these other ones are not good. They've been in the business a long time. They have good stuff, but I really have 3 favorites. So my first one is Southern Exposure Seed Company. Whoop. And they're based, I believe, out of like Montgomery. I want to say, I don't know. Sounds right. I'm probably wrong. What says Mineral, Virginia over there, but they're specifically, they grow seeds that grow specifically here in the South, which is great. I live in 8A, I believe. And so all of these items grow really well in our region. So we've gotten rattlesnake beans, have been absolutely prolific from them. We have gotten, Blue Lake beans. We've gotten lots of different tomatoes with lots of varying different results. We didn't always have success with heirlooms. Heirlooms are finicky. Tomatoes in general are not that easy to grow. So especially when you're growing them from seed, you got to have all the soil and all that's got to be just right. The humus, if you will, of the soil has to be just right. And it can be very difficult. But Southern Exposure Seed Exchange, They just do an absolute great job. They always have great, cool little heirloom plants, things that are kind of rare. And that leads me into my next one, which I don't have with me, but I'm going to share my screen for those who are watching online. Beautiful. Rareseeds.com is the website that I'm on, or Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds is the name of the actual group. I'm just going to kind of slide down for those who are on the video here, but for those who aren't, there's everything from saffron, lots of different daffodils and bulbs and all kinds of, because this is the kind of the bulb season right now that we're in. So now you plant your bulb flowers that are going to come up in the spring, but they just have so many good seeds. I've really enjoyed it. So I'm just going to kind of scroll down, just roughly tell you about the things. So beans, we've definitely done rattlesnake beans. Oh, Chinese long beans we've gotten from them. Python beans. I think maybe you've seen some of the photos of those. Those are really cool. They're like 8 feet long beans. They're like the thickness of a silver dollar, and you could slice them up. They have like the texture of green bell pepper, flavor of green peas, super delicious, lots and lots of fun. But outside of that, we've done beetroots, blueberry plants. Bok choy does really well here in the South. Lots of different flowers and some things like that. Dragon carrots. They have like the purple and orange swirl in them. Those are lots of fun. There's just lots of great items in here. I haven't done the garlic yet, but I know there's some garlic and onion bulbs. I want to do the Egyptian onions. They call them walking onions because they'll grow up, and then the top gets too heavy and it lands down on the ground, and then it starts one there. And it's Egyptian walking onion. It's really cool. But kohlrabi, lemongrass, leeks, and they don't just carry like the bulk versions of these things. They really do carry rare seeds, and it's really cool to be able to have some things in your garden that are different. Don't you want to go to your garden and just be like, hey, that's cool. And that's how we were this year with our python beans. Our python beans were absolutely wild. They got so big, so many, that it actually pulled a thick cattle panel all the way down to the ground. It was too heavy for the cattle panels. That was wild to see. And it was just a lot of fun. It's always just such a great time when you're working in the garden. Tomatoes galore. They do such a great job. Lots of different varieties of turnips and melons. Just super, super, super. Cannot speak enough nice things about Baker Seeds. We did have some issues with a seed one time that I believe they sent us the wrong thing, and within like 4 days they had the new seeds there. They're like, just keep the new ones. They sent a few extra seeds as a sorry, and they were just super awesome about it. Last one that I'm going to talk about is, I'm going to pull it up here, is Haas Tools. Haas Tools, I actually found via another YouTube channel. Forget the name of this. Oh my gosh, it's going to miss my mind now. Cog Hill Farms. Boom. Cog Hill Farms. Just watching his YouTube channel. I love his stuff. He's always the dancing farmer. He's always having fun. He's inspiring people to get out there and garden and homestead. And, he got me into Haas Tools. And we did Blue Lake beans. We did Sun Gold tomatoes, which are like little tiny little cherry tomatoes. Those things grew. I mean, we were picking a bushel of them almost every other day. We had about 50 plants. It was wild. We grew lots of those, enjoyed those a lot. Super delicious. They have a little acid to them, but they're still very sweet. You can pop them like a snack. We even used them in salsa and tomato sauce. That way we would have plenty of tomatoes year round. I think my wife was absolutely done with tomatoes, but Haas Tools, they did such a great job. And of course they sell all the tools and all those different things that you need in the garden. I use a lot of their different items. I like them. They're sturdy. They're just good products. They make you feel good. When you have like a brand, it's kind of like the garden version of an iPhone. You just get it and it has like that feel to it. Just looks good. And then when there are plants and these other groups, when that seedling just pops up, oh man, it's so good. It's absolutely stunning. I just absolutely love gardening. And this time of year is where you've got to start planning out your garden and getting it ready. You cannot wait till the spring. You need to get your seeds in now. So what happens is a lot of the stuff gets sold out, and then it's kind of a snooze, you lose kind of situation. So it's super important that you're getting out there, you're getting your seeds, and you're getting all your things ready and enjoy it. I just encourage you. If you've not had a chance yet, I stress out. I get really worked up. And what's really cool to me, and now I'm blessed that I have a wife who loves gardening. So she gets really into it as well. So I help out, but she gets really, really into it. And what's great though, one of my favorite things though, is kind of we'll hold hands, go out there, and we'll just kind of pick vegetables. Or my munchkins are running around. They eat food right off the vine in our house. So there was a video that we posted up, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, with me just walking in the yard, and there's a pear, and we just snap it off, and it's me and my little man eating it. And that's how our farm really does run. My kids just kind of free roam the garden. They're always more than welcome to help themselves. They know not to waste food. That's a big thing for us. And they just really good. They'll just pick, tomatoes and eat them right there. Sugar snap peas hardly ever make it into the house. They almost all get eaten right off the vine. And that's great because we don't use pesticides at all. So it's 100% organically grown. It's all natural. We use fertilizer grown right here on the farm. The only thing that I buy in is fish fertilizer that is organic, which is basically just fermented fish water. And we use that to cover our crops. Don't pick anything within 24 hours of using that, or else it's just going to taste straight up like licking bad sushi. But it's just a lot of fun. We're gonna do a couple different episodes that are talking about the garden and when we get these things going, because I want to encourage you. They're a lot of fun. And for people like me who stress out, they get worked up, it's not easy, as in it's just gonna magically appear. But what's great about is that you're gonna walk out there, you're gonna be there late spring, and you're gonna look over and be like, man, there's my romaine. I'm gonna cut that romaine. Oh, look, this is early spring tomatoes. And you start grabbing all your little things, little tomatoes. Then you get a little basil to mix in to make you a little vinaigrette. You got all your little things go. And there's just something magical when you make a dish that you've grown yourself. I cannot describe how fun that is, how heartwarming that is. We genuinely like things that we do from scratch. We complain about the work, but we as humans, there's something special when you go through and you do something yourself. You put in the work for it, you put in the sweat, you got your hands dirty, you planted that seed, you put a light on it, you watered it, you did everything that you needed to do. You nurtured it, and you brought it all the way up to this big plant to where you get to pull it. And then you get to eat it. And it sounds so simple. And it's like, oh, I don't want to do that. Just do it. Just do it one time. Just do it one time. Just do it one time. Put some tomatoes on your porch this year and just feel how amazing it is to that when you just, that little sound that it makes when that tomato just releases from that vine, that little, you know what I mean? Oh man, it feels so good. It's so good. So it's just a small encouragement to get out there, have fun, be thinking about your spring garden. I know it's November or October, and we're just kind of getting into the swing of things of fall, but preparation is happening now for what's going to be fruitful in the spring. And that's such a metaphor for life. And what goes on is the seeds that you sow now is going to be what you get to pick in next year in the spring. So just kind of keep that in mind in your personal life. Keep that, of course, in mind when it comes to your garden. And we look forward to having you again here on A Brodacious Life. My name is Jonathan. Of course, my partner and my co-host, Dr. J. That guy's just the man. I love that dude. He's my brother. I'm proud of him. He's the man. He's the man. Leave a like, leave a subscribe down there for Dr. J, who couldn't be with us today because he's working hard. He's teaching kids. He's kicking butt, taking names, and just doing an awesome job. We're going to see you next time right here on A Brodacious Life.